Hello, and welcome to Fiction Inside Out. Today we're going to talk about brand new Witcher movie. Yes, you've heard me right. Witcher movie and not Netflix series. It's brand new production made by fans for fans. It was sponsored by crowdfunding. It gathered around 100,000 Polish zloty, which is around 25,000 US dollars, and is for free to watch for you on their YouTube channel. Just next Saturday, 7th of December. So how did it actually happen that they created this Witcher movie? So the director and his friends really wanted to see good adaptation of Witcher stories, and there was no Netflix at that time when they started, and they thought they would do one themselves. In the beginning they wanted to have 10-15 minutes movie, but they grew a bit, they gathered some money, and they ended up doing full-length 90 minutes video. Basically they got a bit carried away. I can say only that. It took them over 4 years to do that. So big respect to all of the team for not quitting over those 4 years, because I could imagine it was a huge amount of work to do. But I'm really glad they finished and it's coming. It's almost there. So while watching this video, please remember I'm talking now from the perspective of a big Witcher fan. I love the books, I love the games. I even like the first Witcher series, which was Polish production like 20 years ago. Not that great, I can't recommend it, but still, big fan of Witcher. Also, please remember that I'm talking from the perspective of a person who haven't seen the movie yet. I've seen all of the making-ofs, I've seen all of the trailers, it looks really good, but I haven't seen the movie in total, so I can't recommend it for sure. But it looks really promising. There are at least 5 reasons why you should watch this movie, or at least why I can recommend this movie to you. First of all, there are actors. These are real good Polish actors playing in not only theater, but also in the real productions, high budget productions. Some of them are less experienced, some of them more, but I think from the trailers you can see they did quite a good job in acting. Actually, the actor who is playing Dandelion in Polish version Jaskier, he also played the same character in the previous Witcher series from 2001, the Polish production, and he played exactly the same character and he did very well at that time, and I'm really happy to see him in this movie as well. And it's really nice that he agreed to play in this movie, and it's all non-profit. The whole movie is non-profit, none of the directors, writers, actors, none of them got money. Actually, they invested their own money to make this movie even better, which is really nice. You can feel and see that this movie is made by heart and soul, and money doesn't count. It seems they really had good time on the set and they enjoyed the last day of shooting a lot. Secondly, all of the locations and settings, they look really promising. They were all shot in Poland. Just look at those beautiful locations, those meadows and fields and forests. Check out those castles and this medieval village. It all looks great. It really feels medieval and fantasy-like. It even looks historically accurate. No wonder though, they are basically shooting in open-air museums. I never imagined Poland being such a nice place for shooting fantasy settings. Third thing, they have their own soundtrack. Have you ever heard a fan-made movie with their own soundtrack? They didn't copy it from the games, they didn't copy it from the Witcher series, it's all their own. Decorations and outfits. If you ask me, they look pretty good. Of course they are not historically accurate as you would take it straight from the medieval period. They look a bit fantasy, they have this fantasy feel about it. Of course, they don't have the biggest budget on earth, so they can't spend it all on the decorations and outfits. But for that money, it looks really good, and I'm really happy to see that. To be honest, if I can compare it to Netflix series, have you seen what they did with the Nilfgaardian armors? I mean, they have high budget, but come on people, you just can't do that. It's objectively crap, okay? There's nothing I can say more about it. I am sorry, Netflix. All of your CGI, locations, outfits All looks brilliant, except the Nilfgaardian armors. You have butchered it, and I'm really sorry to see that. And the last thing, this unique Slavic vibe. It really feels like Witcher. It really feels like adventure, and I really like that. Then we have two main elephants in the room. That is fighting choreography and CGI monsters and magic. Fighting choreography from the trailers looks pretty okay, and I have seen in making-ofs that they are training and doing pretty good. However, magic, CGI and monsters, that's what I'm really afraid of. I hope they will try to make it as small and unimportant part of this movie, because they just simply don't have budget. I totally understand it's fan-made production, so there's no budget, no money for great CGI, for epic monsters. The point is just make it small and nice and don't overdo yourself. I expect and hope for a lot of practical effects, and from what I've seen there are some. Even the famous cat-like Witcher eyes, they are just lenses, and I think that's really good, because if you don't have money for CGI, then just don't do it, because it will ruin the movie. It will feel like it was a cheap production. And of course it's cheap because it's fan-made, but that's not the point. You can do still a really good movie with barely any money. And I hope that's what they did. So now let's talk shortly about the plot and what we can expect from this movie. So as I said, it's 90 minutes movie. It seems like it's gonna be just one short adventure of The Witcher. I think that's a really good idea. It will look like one of the short stories from the Witcher books, and that's great. I love them. The movie takes place around 25 years after the end of book series. That's, however, not a big problem, because we are not following the Geralt of Rivia, but Lambert, and I think that's really good, because Geralt is already quite overused character, and Lambert is a very interesting one, and we don't know much about him. And I hope the writers and director, they will make it easy to distinguish the two characters, because Lambert is not Geralt. He's not involved in politics. He doesn't like the intrigues of kings and sorcerers. He basically don't give. And in the trailers there are also two other Witchers. The older one, I can only assume this is Vesemir, the master of the Witcher school in Kermoren. And the second one, the younger one, looks like Eskel. I can say that only because he is wearing his leather jacket, very famous with the stripes on it. We can also spot redhead beauty called Triss Merigold and the bard Dandelion. And there is also a character called Julian, which I only can speculate that will be a son of Dandelion. Not only has he his father name, Julian, but also he is very fond of young ladies, which we can see right here. The main villain of the story seems to be a young sorceress who has found an Alzur's almanac, and I will explain a bit later what actually Alzur's almanac can be. The other villain seems to be a bounty hunter. We can see that he has already some Witcher medallions, so we can assume he already killed some of the Witchers, and he seems to be this tough, bad guy who's the main opponent of Lambert in fighting. It seems like the bounty hunter character is based on Leo Bonhart from the Witcher books. He was also a bounty hunter, and he was thought to be the only character who can take Geralt of Rivia on one-to-one fight with swords. And so how the movie got the title Alzur's Legacy. But that's quite interesting actually, because in Polish version it's called Half a Century of Poetry Later, which is a very close reference to Jaskier or Dandelion's memoirs from the Witcher books. However, the English version, the English title, Alzur's Legacy, makes also a lot of sense, because that is a reference to a very powerful mage, Alzur, who was responsible for creating first mutants and also first witchers. So somebody, probably the sorceress, lay her hands on the almanac of Alzur, and now she's trying to recreate witchers or other even more powerful or dangerous mutants. So, summing up, can it be really better than new Netflix Witcher series? I don't think so. They just simply lack budget. It's a fan-made production. Can it be objectively good movie with interesting plot, good characters, and this Witcher adventure vibe? It certainly looks so. I have really high hopes for this movie, and I really think it might be good. And that's it. We have really promising new Witcher movie coming for free on YouTube next Saturday, 6:30 Central European Time. I will leave you all of the necessary links below so you can watch it with me. I have high hopes. However, please remember this is still a fan-made movie. But I can only cross my fingers and pray it's gonna be good. Thanks for watching. Please let me know what do you think about the Alzur's Legacy making-ofs and trailers in the comments. And I will do another video discussing the plot as soon as I watch the movie. See you next time.
Od południa złowroga pieśń płynie, nadstaw ucho to legendy śpiew. Człowiek przemija, legenda nie ginie, bo prawdziwa płynie w niej krew. Bo prawdziwa płynie w niej krew.
Oh, you're still here. Good. I've got something for you. I've heard there might be a post-credits scene after the movie.